Well, the Badminton World Championship campaign, as far as India are concerned, is officially done with. That's because the last actual competitors who were there representing or flying the Indian flag were, of course, the men's doubles pair of Satwik-Chirag, Ranki Reddy, and Chirag Shetty. Well, they were in the semi-finals and assured of a bronze medal come what may. However, they would have been hoping to actually make the final. Unfortunately, that's not what has happened. Just now, the semi-final of the Badminton World Championships has concluded, and Satwik and Chirag have unfortunately ended up on the losing side of this particular encounter. They lost to the Malaysian pair of Aaron Chia and Suwo Yik. Now, obviously, this was always going to be a very, very close battle because both of these sides are fairly evenly matched. In fact, even if you go by their BWF rankings, the Malaysian pair are just one rank above the Indians. So it was always going to be a close encounter, and that's in fact how the match played out as well. It wasn't, a one-sided affair right until the last part, maybe. But if you look at the way the match went, the first game, and this is where you have to give full credit to the Malaysians, by the way, because the Indian pair ended up winning the first game and they won it 22-20. That's just how far the match went. The distance it went was pretty good because at one point it seemed like, it was pretty easy towards the latter part of the first game. However, early parts of the first game, it was the Indians who took the lead in the mid-game interval. And they had a pretty convincing lead too because it was around 11-6. So they were pretty much on course for a pretty easy win at that point in the first game. But the Malaysian pair clawed back. They took it to, in fact, extra points because, normally you have to win by 21 with a gap of at least 2 points. However, both teams were level at 20 each. And it was then the Indian duo who smashed 2 points on the trot to take that first game comfortably. Unfortunately, that was the highlight of their game. The second game was again a very close affair, very close in fact, because the Malaysians did go into the mid-game interval with a lead, but it was an 11-10 lead. So really at that point anything could have happened. Even the second part, once the game started, the Malaysians did end up taking a few points early, but the Indians rallied back. However, it wasn't enough, and considering the level both of these teams operate at, it almost seemed inevitable that you'd be going the distance in this particular match. And that's exactly what in fact happened as well, because the first game they ended up taking, they actually ended up taking the first game, the Indians, but the second game they ended up on 18. It was a pretty, towards the end, they kind of lost a little bit of steam. And of course, I think Chirag Shetty had to change his rackets twice in very quick succession during the second game. I don't think that would have helped the momentum either. But it was into a decider, and that was pretty much what was expected. But once it went to the decider, again, it was the Malaysian pair who were just slightly ahead. When it comes to teams who are this evenly matched, it's always going to be a game of finer margins. So in those finer margins, whoever's even slightly ahead, that's the more important thing. And again, going into the mid-game break, it was the... But what was the key thing thereafter was that in the second part of that third game, the deciding game, they found it much easier to score off the Indians than they were previously. So in the end, they ended up taking it 21-16. However, and while it's understandable to be disappointed by the fact that Chirag and Satwik have ended up losing out here, it is also worth noting that this is a pretty big moment for Indian badminton in many ways. Not only does it continue India's, does it continue India's medal streak in terms of them winning a medal in this particular event for all consecutive years now since 2011. So since 2011 to 2022, now they've not, the Indian contingent have now gone medalist. So that streak continues, but it's also a historic medal because India, up until this point, had never won a medal in the men's doubles event at the BWF World Championships. Satwik and Chirag have ensured that India have their first medal in the Badminton World Championships in the men's double side of things. Obviously, they would naturally be disappointed. They did think that they could make the final, and understandably so. As I said, today was a game of very fine margins, so they didn't really lose by a lot. But at the end of the day, the scoreline is what matters the most, and it was the Malaysians who deservedly ended up taking the victory. So that's it for, of course, our coverage of this particular event, and of course, because India's campaign has now come to an end. But don't forget that today is an action-packed day of sports, so stay tuned to Sports Today and show us your love in this particular video by liking the video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already at this point. And of course, don't forget to tap the bell icon to know when it is we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Last but not least, download the SportsTech app for more such breaking news updates at the tip of your fingers. Thank you all for joining us. Do continue to join us throughout the day. As I said, lots of sporting action still to come, but I'm taking your leave. It's goodbye for now.